Oh, g'day there, Rugby League fans. Welcome along to another episode of the Mad Monday podcast, the ACC's home of Rugby League analysis. My name is Chris Key. Joining me today, Dai Henwood, and of course we are live from the Export Beer Garden studio. And Dai, we're about to pick over the carcass of what was a pretty damn exciting win for the Warriors, taking us to 3-1 on the table, getting a win over the Bulldogs. Holy cow, how good was that call from last night?
No better way to spend my Sunday afternoon than with Adam Whanua-Kesey commentating a beautiful game out at Mount Smart. Strolled into the ACC Export Beer Garden studio, ACC head G Lane. Looked straight at me with a concerned look and said, "How's that voice, mate? You're a bit croaky towards the end."
Yeah.
And that was because it was an amazing win. We're going to dissect it, but I went from worried to happy to nervous.
Oh, it had everything. But confident the whole way, is it? Because I was feeling kind of confident the whole second half. No matter, even when we were down, I had a feeling.
Yeah, I was hanging on to the fact of what the Warriors had delivered over the last three games, that we defend well, we can pull tries out when they're needed, and it's so nice that Shaun Johnson has become a bit of a talisman at the club again. He's not the guy that people were worried about and they're saying, should we do a different halves pairing? We've got our halves pairing.
Absolutely.
Shaun Johnson rocks on attack and defence.
Yep.
Same with Tamati Martin.
And the good thing is, we're going to get real deep into this game in a sec, but for once I think Shaun's not been relied to be the man. Everyone's the man. Everyone around him. He's got a good support cast, so he can just be himself, which is bloody exciting. Before we rip in, though, don't forget we will be commentating yet another Warriors game this Sunday, 6 o'clock, taking on the Red Hot Sharks at Shark Park. That is 6 p.m. Sunday, Sky Sports 6. You'll have me and Dai Henwood as well, and also producer Joel will be running sideline for us. Look, I don't want to jinx us in any way, Di, but we're undefeated when we've commentated games. The ACC's undefeated.
3 from 3. We have one hiccup where we couldn't do the Roosters game, and hey, that was the one we lost. So
I wonder why. There you go.
Just saying, tune in for
absolutely.
another ACC stonker this Sunday.
Speaking of stonkers, let's rip into the Warriors now. Getting a huge win over the Bulldogs at home at Mount Smart Stadium, 16 points to 14.
With Viliami Kikau really playing in that ball. When you looked at the other side, Josh Adokar, the Fox, he's run. Wow. It's a runaway try right off the scrum. No one could touch him. There wasn't even a hand to the leg. They played the shape down the left-hand side. The Warriors, this is why you don't focus on the mistake you just made. You play the footy that's in front of you, and this has got to be a punishment.
Fifth play here for the Warriors. What have they got?
Johnson! He does it! He scored under the black dot. There'll be a little issue around Reid Marty, but from my eyes, it looks good. It was given on the field by Peter Goff, and wow, this could put the Warriors into the lead. Yes. Are your eyes bleeding with love, Kesey? 3 seconds on the clock. There's a face-off between Tavanga and Burton, and is it going to be...
They paused the clock. Have they?
Paused the clock with 3 seconds to go.
The refs just said, stuff it, game over.
Has he?
Yeah, he said, stuff it.
The Warriors take out the third win of the season, beating the Bulldogs at their home, the spiritual home of rugby league in New Zealand, Mount Smart Stadium. Take a bow via Leah. He scored the first try. Take a bow, Montoya. He scored the second try. And keep on bowing Shaun Johnson, who got us the lead and kicked it over. How was that, Kesey?
That was the best game of footy I've seen at Mount Smart in a bloody long time. It's some thorough analysis and commentary there from myself and Dai Henwood.
So can I just say, this is the second weird end in a game for us commentating. The Knights game had a really bizarre end where it sort of just petered out and they started walking off the field, then the ref blew the whistle.
Oh, that's right, yeah. So I think the issue we've got in our little box here at the ACC Export Beer Garden Studios is that we can't really hear the sound effects from the ground that clearly. So we're just sort of going off the vibe. You know what I mean?
And it was weird because the clock stopped 3 seconds early, then went bright red. The players sort of started looking around, then started hugging. Then the ref blew the whistle a few seconds after that. But who cares? It's in the books as a win.
It is in the books as a win in front of a crowd of 20,000 people at beautiful Mount Smart Stadium in beautiful Penrose, just a beautiful industrial area there. Look, Dai, I'm not going to lie, first 2 minutes, obviously I was late to the commentary. Apparently it takes 4 hours to get from Tauranga to Auckland, so I was running 10 late, 15 actually. But for the Bulldogs to score 2 minutes in, I was sort of, it was a flashback to vintage Warriors where you're like, oh no, we've let them in so early, that's going to demoralise us. But holy cow, it did not. It was almost like a small lapse from us defensively. And the way we responded to that, we still defended our asses off. We were trying things on attack. And I think that is just a major sign of the difference between the Warriors this season and last season.
Oh, completely. I mean, that try, it was so early in the game, was they were just on our line. Bulldogs owned that first 10 minutes. They were on our line, and then they just played out to their right, our left, and Montoya sort of shot out of the line a bit early. It wasn't so much a bad read, but he just shot out, which then compressed our centres and just left them enough space on the wing to get the ball out and just sort of cruise in.
And with his jamming in like he does, Marcelo, he's actually got pretty much all of them right this season except for that one.
On when he hits you, you stay hit. I mean, later in the game, he had a phenomenal bump off on
Kyle Flanagan.
Kyle Flanagan him all right. And in that first 10 minutes, there were two moments that I thought the Bulldogs were fully on song. It was that try, then around the 10th minute, I think, Reid Marnie just kicked a superb 40-20.
That was like a 39-19. That's how close he was cutting it. It was perfect.
It was if you were just right on the money.
Yeah.
So they were playing well. They had so much of the ball, but then we just changed it around. And I think you could time it. I don't know whether this was an early call by Webby, but the Ball brothers came on, old Walker and Tavanga.
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
They came on around that 10th minute, and then we scored in the 13th minute. So, I mean, that the try on attack, because we looked a little bit lackluster on attack on our first couple of goes.
We did. So that's an early injection of those two, isn't it? I really like that. It's like, in case of emergency, get the two Ball brothers on, put tape on Jazz's head so you know which one he is. That's a really effective call for Andrew Ibser to be making. I absolutely love it.
It's a wild card, also a safe call, because both those boys can play big minutes. So if you put them on 10 minutes early, like you'd imagine an interchange point's more around that 20th minute. But if you put them on early, they can play the big minutes, as they showed. I mean, Dylan Walker's a standout signing.
He is a standout, and he started, that first game, or I think it was against the Chooks. It looked like he was coming on and trying a few too many things. Now that he's settled in, 4 games into the season, you can tell he's going to be, every time we bring him and Jazz off the bench, man, like Jazz adds fuel to that forward pack, and he just like lights up the back line, and all of a sudden we're trying things across the park.
Oh, completely. And outside of our attacking weapons that are now looking so good through to Murray Martin, Sean Johnson, Jazz Tavanga, Dylan Walker, Jackson Ford, amazing.
Beast.
I got a bit of a love affair with him, but he was one of the 9 Warriors who made it over 100 metres in this game. He tackles, he's involved in everything. He's got a big motor, he can play big minutes. There's so much to like. Bear in mind, we were missing Mitch Barnett in this game.
Oh my God, I completely forgot. We've got such good stocks.
So Mitch Barnett, his work rate in the game previous was huge. So how good is it having headaches as a Warriors selector as to who you're going to put in? Also, there's in the New South Wales Cup game I watched, Warriors have got a good young prop there too.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. What?
So I was watching it with the sound down. So he's number 8. Text me in his name. He was number 8. And he was a big unit who crashed over for a try, plus was just making some epic hit-ups. He's got heavy Waria Hargraves vibes about him.
Really?
Yeah.
I like that.
Like the big enforcer prop.
I mean, you can just see from even old Tane Tuapiki, that filled in for Chance last week, the fact that these guys are showing up game ready for first grade, like, our pathways must just be humming at the moment,
And they're just going to, this is the first year they're back, and we're going to have all 5 teams in next year. So it's looking good for Warriors. And what's really looking good is we're not paying big money Hail Marys, like paying a Ponga, paying a Mitch Moses.
Is that because that's what Canterbury are doing?
Paying a Travojevic.
Yeah.
What we're doing is we're signing these Jackson Fords, Dylan Walkers, who are on good money, but not outrageous money, and it means you can manage a roster better. And I watched the press conference with Dylan Walker and Webby, and wow, the vibe's so good. Webster looks like he creates an amazing vibe amongst the playing group. I was out there on Saturday at the captain's run with my son. We got to have a good chat to Andrew Webster.
Good guy.
Solid human, gives off such a beautiful vibe. All of the staff were awesome. The vibe around the gym was good. I was sitting in Bunty Afoa's locker.
I saw the photo that you shared to the group chat. So you telling me, because this is the age-old question in sports journalism, if I ask you right now, how's the mood in camp? The mood in the Warriors camp, is it extremely positive right now?
Yeah, it wasn't overexcited. It was just a calm, confidence.
Controlled, yeah.
Like they're just all, like at the end of their captain's run, just all playing, kick around with a football and a bit of keepy-uppy, and they're all having laughs and
you love to see
patting each other on the back. I must say, Tohu Harris, just lovely boy from Hastings, is so polite. They were all, I must say, Chance, Tohu, Montoya, they were so kind to my son, and it's that sort of stuff. Like he's just amped about the Warriors. He went out to the game.
That's great. So, maybe the Warriors are sort of instituting a bit of a similar theory to what the Black Caps were running a few years back, where it's just like, we've just got to get the best humans in camp possible.
Yeah, where it's not about having the best player in the world in every position. It's about having a great cohesive team. There's worries around Tohu's knee.
Because he didn't play the second half at all, right? Is that correct?
He ran out for a little bit, but he didn't. I was looking at his numbers were down because he had the most tackles in the comp.
Up to this game.
Going into that game, which is an amazing stat. So fingers crossed he's going to be right for next week.
Although, just on Tohu though, if he is out, right, I'm not as worried as I used to be. When Tohu was out, you're like, oh no. We were missing Wade Egan, who literally scores a try every game, and we still managed to get the job done with Lussick starting at hooker,
Lussick, who had he had a very solid game. We'd get Wade Egan back. Hopefully Barnett would be back, who would step into the place of Tohu.
Sweet
probably.
Good to go.
So and
Josh Curran too. We've got so many freaking people.
I forgot Josh Curran was on the extended bench.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was our weapon last year.
He was going to go to State of O this season.
So having all these guys really playing for their position, it's such a positive. Now, I don't want to be the negative guy, but...
Well, we may as well start doing it now, get us used to it,
So I was looking back. This is the same way we ran into last season, pretty much, right? After 5 games, we were 3-5, which we could
3-2?
No, After 5 games, we'd won 3, lost 2.
Yeah.
Which potentially could be the case after Cronulla. However, the wins felt different this year. Last year, our wins were sketchy as. We had some sketchy wins.
Didn't we do a real sketchy one over the Raiders or something?
Yeah, we had these sketchy 1-point wins in the last 5 minutes and that. This year... we defend hard. We earned that win. We earned that win. There were a lot of calls that went against us. I personally believe the Pompey try was a try that was given a no try.
It was stripped, right?
Strip. They only looked at one angle on it. If you look from the side angle, he played at the ball.
So, yeah, he definitely plays at the ball. And then I believe... when we were doing the commentary, it looked like Pompey's hand, after he'd played at the ball, Pompey's hand then pushed it forward after he'd let go.
Yeah, so on the other angle, the last player to touch the ball was kicker.
Oh, really?
So, it's one of those ones that could go either way, but the crowd definitely didn't like that call.
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate? And... then it was those things. That's what then led to that runaway try for Adokar. And I went, here we go. This is classic. Like, head down. We'll have a bad 20 minutes. We'll get irreversibly behind on the scoreboard. but the opposite happened. We stood up. We defended hard. We created our opportunities. We put Montoya over in the left-hand corner. And then that try to Sean Johnson, it came out of the blue, it felt like, even though we were on attack.
It did because and so were the Bulldogs defenders. They were fully expecting Sean to run kind of deep into the line and then past it like he'd been doing most of the game. But to see him dummying and running and scoring under the posts again, it just brings so much... it just fizzes me up big time.
Because he dummied, and then he does these two little steps that he does to sort of jink inside, then outside. It's so positive. He's wound the clock back. Also, towards the end of the game, he was kicking deep into the corner.
He's got his kicking figured out, Like I said, it's the first game of the season. He was still doing sort of nothing-ish bombs. But holy cow, he seems to be just controlling and managing them on our side on defence with his kicking. It's fantastic.
And if you want to look at stocks, I watched that New South Wales Cup side. They beat the Bulldogs 30-18. Volkman's kicking was huge.
Wow.
He was kicking deep.
I forgot about him.
Deep. So he's there. So if you look at the table, the Warriors are fourth.
Broncos first.
/ tied second.
Yeah, points differential, yeah.
Second, third and fourth have the same points. Then 6th through to 14th have the same points.
Wow.
It's a logjam. They said this is the closest since 1975, I believe.
Oh, good year
And then in New South Wales Cup, the Warriors are sitting third on the table. But bear in mind, teams 1 through to 6 all have the same points. So anything could happen. So we're playing well in both grades. We've got to be happy with that. I couldn't ask for a better start to the season. Plus, we've got a pretty favourable draw going forward.
After the Sharks, you mean?
Yeah, because we play the Knights and the Cowboys again in quick succession.
That's bizarre.
Which is bizarre. I don't know who does these league draws because it's very bizarre.
I mean, we've already got beef with them for a few things. You've got the Eels who are playing, I think, 4 of the top teams fresh off a bye. And then you've got Brisbane, who, as you said, Magic Round is an away game for them, and the Battle of Brizzy on the weekend was an away game for them, even though it was at Suncorp.
So they're actually playing 5 out of their 6 first games at Suncorp.
Yeah. So this is BS.
And we've played 1 out of 5 at Mount Smart. So if you look forward to that, we play Cronulla, then we play Knights, Cowboys,
winnable,
Melbourne.
Winnable, definitely
and
winnable.
Roosters. So I worry that Roosters will be really starting to hit their straps again.
Well,
However, I don't understand is, in this first 9 rounds, we play in 9 rounds the Roosters, Cowboys, and Knights twies.
What the hell's going on?
In 9 rounds. That's ridiculous.
What the hell is going on? I mean, I've actually heard a lot of even the commentators and a few of the the TV shows during the week and stuff. People have been mentioning the draws just a wee bit weird. A few decisions that they've made have been pretty interesting. Before we do start looking too far ahead, though, I think if I had to pick a player of the match in terms of obviously Sean, amazing, did so many good things, but in terms of someone who just surprised me with what they were capable of doing, Viliami Vailea. Holy cow, that dude, he put Montoya obviously over for their second Warriors try, but literally 2 minutes before that, he drew in 3 defenders and offload to Montoya, and Montoya got caught an inch before the line, and then they ended up scoring there again. And his defence obviously scored the first try for the Warriors too, ran through 3 tacklers.
Which his leg drive.
Oh, his leg drive.
To get through that, because he it wasn't like brush off. They were all hanging off him, and he just kept going and going.
And the thing about him is literally going into this season and all of last season, we're like, man, we need to shore up our centres. We're so weak in the centres. I no longer have that issue with him. And even Adam Pompey, he's still got as Mania would say, he's got a touch of the Manus, which means he'll make a big error. His offense in the last 2 games, he's done a couple of freakish physical things. Could he be sort of on the path to, maybe holding down that spot as well?
So he would, I wouldn't change anything in this side.
Yeah, just leave as is.
Adam 3 times ran behind his player and had to stop.
Oh, right.
And take a voluntary tackle. I would give him a try. That was no try. It stresses me out a little bit, but I quite like that. he's a nice pairing with Vailea, who in pre-season had all the hype, and there was talk he'd just play New South Wales Cup, and you might see a Niokore
in the centres.
But Niokore, for his 100th game, had a stonker himself. I love these guys we've got, who Vailea fits into this, who are high work rate players.
Yeah.
They put in the defence, they put in the running meters, and Niakore's no mug there. Big respect to our back three. They diffused every wobbly bomb that Matt Burton put up. Chance caught some screamers. He played brilliantly.
He did play brilliantly. And I mean, as we say, Tane last week filled in nicely for him, but having him here, you certainly know the difference. Obviously, he's so safe in defence under the bombs, as you mentioned, but holy cow, he was popping up in midfield all over the place. There was some moments where we were playing some classic old-school throw-it-around footy, and he would receive the ball 2 or 3 times in the play, you know what I mean? He's just, I don't know, he seems his work rate through the middle and just popping up out of nowhere like Tom Turbo.
What I was thinking going through the highlights again was last year, how stressful was it when the Warriors started to pass it as we dropped the ball the whole time? We just dropped the ball cold. Outside of a couple of knock-ons, like Dylan Walker had one, but he was in a lot of traffic. We're really playing good footy, passing it around. No bad passes. I mean, a few wobbly ones, but there's so much to like. I'm not going to get too excited about where we are because I know who we've played. The Cowboys are off the pace.
They start slow quite often, the old Cowboys.
Bear in mind, the Dogs have beat Melbourne already this year.
Titans have beaten Melbourne, though.
The Dogs are a good side.
They are a good side. And to be honest, after watching them play last week, I was like, oh, God, the Dogs are starting to come into form here. They're finally working out how to utilise their guns. And I even felt like that when the old Addo car sprinted down the sideline. I was like, crap, this is a reminder how good they can be. For us to hold them off, though, like, for example, you mentioned the Roosters in Melbourne are coming up for us. I'm not worried about them anymore because they've both been so rusty and we've been so slick. It's going to be, I think it'll be a great matchup.
Look, for me, every ANZAC Day, the Warriors get pumped by Melbourne by like 50 points.
Well, 70 last year.
If we could beat them at Amy Park, because it's ANZAC Day, you can never have that game in New Zealand for some reason.
No, it has to, yeah.
It has to be. Like, big ups to the Warriors. They're nothing, they're not huge things, but they all just add up. It's always, whereas Brisbane definitely would have to play it at Suncorp,
and it would be an away game for them.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Safe to say we're pretty fizzed up over the result there. And, I mean, if we just quickly touch on the final try for the Warriors to win it there, it did look to me, upon further investigation, Reid Marnie was committing to tackle Adam Fanua-Blake before Sean, he had fully committed. And also, Reid Marnie's not very tall and not fast enough to get to Sean Johnson. So, I mean, although we're probably going to see Kenty and Buzz blow up about it tonight, and I am a massively biased Warriors fan, I saw no issue, if you know what I mean.
So my logic around there being no issue with this, Sean Johnson breaks the line and Adam Fanua-Kesey is running as his support player. So Sean Johnson hasn't dummied to him and he ran through the line. Sean Johnson's still ahead of him. So he is effectively running support for Sean Johnson to pass to.
And you can do that without blocking off a defender.
Yeah, because he doesn't have to get out of the way of the defender.
True. Yeah, true.
He ran a straight line towards the goal line, and it's only a case when the dummy runner runs past the ball carrier into the line, stands there, then the ball is passed, and the defender can't get past the dummy runner.
All right.
So he wasn't a dummy runner. He was involved in the play. Here's a question. If that was Dogs that had scored that against us, would we be up in arms right now? Oh, day, mate! I'll send him off! That's bullshit! Yeah, thought so. We'll keep things going along that pattern, though, for their entire season, I'm sure. All right, anything you want to say about the Warriors before we move things on? I think I've said it all. You should be proud if you're a Warriors fan. This is the best form I've seen since 2011. Loving what the boys are doing. Loving the jersey design. Loving the understated, all their other understated merch. It's good to be a Warriors fan. Also, go onto the Warriors website. Great behind-the-scenes footage they're delivering at the moment. There's a great day in the life of Sean Johnson.
J, yeah. My wife watched that and was telling me all about that. That's the closest I've ever got to getting her into the Warriors, so very exciting. And by the way, now's the time to get on the bandwagon.
Definitely.
Now is the time. Well, to be honest, the last week or the week before was the time.
There's enough room. Maybe this week might be a bit sketchy to get on the bandwagon, but... get on. There's enough room for all of you.
I'll just be happy with another good performance this week. The Sharks are sharp, but we'll get into that in a wee bit.
There's always another trailer on the bandwagon.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly. Hop off Hurley's Titans and get on the wires.
Yes, do it right. We're going to move on to the stonker of the round, which was the Panthers and the Eels. An absolute doozy with the Panthers winning by 1.
Yo. Cleary, short to Hosking. Here come the Panthers. His first game as a Panther. The former Bronco scores, and it is game on.
Both feet on the line.
Positions himself. Here we go. 2-point field goal attempt from Cleary. He's got it. He's got it.
He's got it.
Nathan Cleary sends us to Golden Point. Last play. The ball to Moses from in front. He's kicked it. The Eels win in Golden Point. And that's why you get the big bucks, baby. That's why you get the big bucks. What a game.
What a game indeed. That was the Thursday night special. The Panthers ended up going down to the Eels 16-17, and it's not often that that the kick that got them to extra time gets more sort of coverage in the media than the kick that won the game. You know, if you went back and watched the media now and wasn't told what the result was, you'd think that the Panthers had won based on Cleary's magnificent 40-metre field goal.
Yeah, you'd think Cleary kicked the winning goal.
Exactly, yeah.
What a bizarre passage of play leading up to that. Junior Polo just...
dropped it cold, didn't he?
No, he came flying out of the line and
the high shot.
Like Captain America-style dive, which he's going to get
wasn't it an RKO like in wrestling?
Yeah, he's going to get some time on the sideline for that.
That's right.
Then Cleary, with so much pressure from 40 metres out, drilled it to take it to extra time, and then Mitchell Moses had just been dragging his feet. He's got the same manager. His manager's a bit of a punisher, apparently. He's Joseph Suoli'i's manager.
Oh, right.
Joseph Suoli'i just signed a $1.4 million a year, 4-year contract.
To go to the old Wallabies.
To go to rugby union so he can have 4 years off the contact before he gets back to, comes back home to the Roosters.
But the lead up to that 40-metre field goal, as you said, I was getting it mixed up between the Manly Rabbitohs game, which was also a stonker, where Josh Aloiai just dropped the ball cold right in front of the field goal, and that pretty much was game over.
Yeah.
Similar thing happened. Junior Paulo, who's not usually a dirty player, like he's a big fella, he's an enforcer, but you never ever see him getting in fights, scuffles, doing anything dirty.
No, it was a similar hit to Wade Graham's one, where
Yes.
I think he just went in with too much excitement trying to do a big hit. I don't feel there's any malice in it, but he's still... because he left the ground, these days at the judiciary, it's if you leave the ground,
right,
like you jump into the tackle, that's where your time on the sideline comes in.
Yeah,
so
well,
I think he'll be getting 2 to 3 weeks, similar to what Wade Graham got in round 1 or round 2.
I think it was round 1 when he rushed out and put a massive hit on. But I love the fact that there was a ball. The ball kid had already put the ball on the 40-metre line. They had a penalty to put it into touch. Cleary puts it exactly over the 40-metre line.
Right to the pinpoint.
Pinpoint, and then they pass it straight to him, and then he slots the field goal. It was the most clutch thing I've ever seen in rugby league, you know?
It's the just massively cool head. Whenever I watch stuff like that, I go, shit, I'm so glad that's not me.
Yeah.
You know, like those moments in sports games when you're out there going, it's like in our Last Man Stands cricket team. I'm so glad, like, I'm not the dude who bowls the last over.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Or
yeah.
I'm not the dude who has to go out first and get a quick 50.
You're just sitting out there imagining what it would be like folding under that pressure.
So a contribution from me, a good contribution, is a real bonus. It's not like the be-all and end-all of the team.
I mean, I guess once we've just proved it here, but the Eels did win. I mean, the coverage might seem otherwise, but the Eels finally got their first win of the season. The Eels lost to the Storm by 4 in round 1, to the Sharks by 4 in round 2, and then they lost to the Sea Eagles in round 3 by 4. Sharks, Storm, Sea Eagles, they're all very, very, very good teams. I think everyone has written off the Eels way too early this season.
Oh, this harks back to what we were talking about draw-wise.
Yeah.
They've got a very hard draw, and they've come super close in heaps of games.
Yeah, exactly.
So they could easily be top of the table if they win those games.
And I mean, we're going to get into it a little bit later on. There's some good odds around the Eels at the moment. I reckon people are sort of writing them off a wee bit. Just quickly, though, finally we saw Brad Arthur for the first couple of games of the season for the Eels. He was carrying a 4-forward bench, no utility, even though Josh Hodgson's out there. He's like 1,000 years old. Kind of been a bit shaky. And then on debut, Brendan Hands at hooker.
Love Brendan Hands.
I know. He scores a try, which is fantastic. But
also, who has the last name Hands
and plays hooker?
It's such a weird name. But I love Brendan Hands.
I love it. I reckon, and he had such a good game, so much so that they didn't bring Hodgson back on. Did you get your invite, by the way?
Oh, to what?
To the Cardi party, baby.
Oh, the Cardi party. The guy I wish I brought in on Supercoach.
Yeah, I have had him since day dot, which it's a massive risk. Everyone's like, don't go to the Cardi party, he'll burn you. Holy cow. Bloody Dylan Brown, beautiful little silky grubber through. Cardi's there, he's all over it, safe as houses, slides over.
So, in previous Supercoach years, I've got on the Cardi party. Not only has he burnt my house down, he purposefully crashed every fire truck that came to put the burning house out.
And then he was hiding under the bed like old Jack DeBellin at the end of it. So it's good to see the Cardi party still going strong. Hopgood, he only played a small 68 minutes this week. Still got through 165 metres, made 53 tackles.
Jermaine Hopgood has come out of Penrith, gone into the Eels, and become a weapon. What is it with Brad Arthur? He did this to Isaiah Papali'i as well.
Yeah, he unlocked him.
From the Warriors. He just unlocked him, and he became the best second rower in the comp.
Oh.
And it looks like the similar thing is happening to Jermaine Hopgood.
Do you buy what's the name of the fellow with the massive guns that plays lock for the Eels?
Ryan Madison.
Madison. Do you buy his excuse that he thought the warm-up games would count towards his ban when he chose to?
What a tight ass, eh?
Oh man, because it was a fine, right?
For people who don't know, he either had to take a 3-game suspension or pay $4,000.
$4,000,
which the club often ponies up.
Yeah, and he chose to sit out the games.
So $4,000. He's on $600K a year.
What? Oh.
And most players. So there's word that he's not too popular in camp.
Oh, no shit. There's the most ridiculous decision I've ever seen.
Because and also when you're losing these games to big teams by just 4 points and you've got a massive attacking weapon on the bench, hot Eric Banner buzz.
Oh, big time. Yeah, so I don't buy because he came out with the excuse this week that, he thought the warm-up games would count.
No, but so why I don't really buy that is there's a whole team of like lawyers and stuff who go to the hearings with them. They're very aware of what the policy is. I'm actually surprised the club let him do that.
Yeah, there's something weird going on there. And then, I mean, coming off the grand final buzz there where they missed it, I don't know, there was just some weird times, obviously, terrible decisions being made. But I do think from here on out, even though everyone's sort of written off the Eels, I think they're going to be back, although missing Junior Paulo is, that's a massive out for them. I'm not sure how many weeks he'll be missing, although he could just pay the fine. Oh, no, that's not an option, is it? No. He could sit out 3 warm-up games. No, it's not an option either. Okay.
Yeah, no, he'll already just not watch 2 of Australia's T20s against England.
Oh,
I think that's an option.
That wraps up the stonker of the round. The Eels getting the win over the Panthers, 17 points to 16. We'll be back soon on Mad Monday with some more key talking points. Also, a brand new segment called Mad Money with Mad Monday. And, of course, Dai Henwood off the back fence. So stick around.
Not guilty, Your Honour.
Yeah, what are you getting the ref's room number, mate?
The Warriors have a new coach, his name is Andrew Webster. He is really cool, he bought new signings like Dylan Walker and Towns Nickel Clockstaff is back cause we have the Cossey Club, yeah. We've got Adam Pompey and Tohu Harris and Bunty up for running ball fast. We are the Warriors and we rock.
Oh, welcome back to the Mad Monday podcast live from the Export Beer Garden studio. The lyrical stylings of Dai Henwood there making an unforgettable tune for the Warriors faithful to get behind.
If you do go on to like NRL Roasts Bulldog page, that is what do you call those?
Oh, what the fan was doing.
Yeah, so a guy made a video very similar to that, and then I recorded my version. That wasn't my honest attempt at a Warriors song.
Oh, it is bloody good. And it was great because you sent it through to the group chat there, and Ben Hurley genuinely thought that you had just made that yourself. And he was like, oh, cool. But it is time to get into more of the talking points from round 4 in the NRL, and we'll start with the mini stonker. This one could have been the stonker of the round if that Eels-Panthers game didn't happen. We're talking Manly taking on the Rabbitohs, with the Rabbitohs getting the win 13 points to 12. This was a mini stonker, Dai Henwood. It ended in kind of disappointing fashion, really. As I mentioned earlier, Josh Aloiai, strong hit up through the middle. I think it was the second carry of Golden Point. Just dropped it cold, which meant that Lockie Elias could line it up and slot the winning field goal. You've mentioned in the doc here that you think Elias is stepping up and taking over from Adam Reynolds. Do you think he's got the goods to take that spot full time?
Yeah, well, there was so much talk about Adam Reynolds leaving to Brizzy.
Yeah.
And Lachlan Elias, they were just giving him so much shit. He's a young dude. But he has stepped up in some big games.
Yeah.
This is only really his second proper season, and icing moments like that are huge. Trell Mitt tried to do it earlier in the game, maybe 3 minutes before that.
Huge wobbler of a kick.
Hit just a wobbler, and he was punching his hand in disgust. And then they took it out. I watched this game with my son and his friend, and wow, we were jumping, screaming around the living room. He's a huge Souths fan, and this whole round seems to be the rise of the assistants. This was Jason Demetrio.
Oh, yes, of course.
And then we had Andrew Webster and Ciraldo, and at Cronulla there's Fitzgibbon. This whole year is the rise of the assistants, and the Bunnies are just, they needed that win.
Yeah.
And they took it. Cody Walker seems back in really good form.
Well, because Cody had a bit of a down year last year after leading the entire league in try assists in 2021. So he is a gun. He had a down year. I still feel like Rabbitohs aren't firing yet. Trell Mitt, even though, he
hasn't fired.
He definitely hasn't fired.
As you can see by my Supercoach scores.
Yeah, you've kind of built around him, which is a bit of a shame.
And Cody Walker also, teams have found in the big games they bait him.
It's easy.
And when he gets angry, which he seems to get angry pretty quickly, he goes off the boil. Game-wise.
Massively. And it's not hard to. It's a matter of like tackling him and then getting up by putting your elbow on his face and then using, like, that's all it takes, and he will see red for the rest of the game.
And then he goes full red mist, wobbly eyes, and just tries to nail people and forgets his attacking shape.
And the thing is, when he can keep his head, keep his wits about him and actually concentrate on what he's doing. Like, he pulled out 2 remarkable tries. That one where I think it was, who was it? Tommy Turbo. Someone was trying to shepherd it over the line. He dived and scored it with about a millimetre to score. That was absolutely brilliant from Cody. Quick shout out to Daly Cherry Evans for the slowest, baldest, tripping overest intercept try I've ever seen in my life. Like, I was like, holy cow, this dude is running in gumboots. He barely made it and he tripped over before the line, but still, Supercoach points there for me.
And myself.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Also, Tom Travojevic is starting to find form now.
Massively.
He, in the first round, you remember he got into space and then sort of pulled up?
Yep, that's right. He was a bit hesitant
on his leg, but he's getting into good shape. He's my other fullback in Supercoach.
Yeah, I've got Tommy and the young ex-girlfriend Reece Walsh. But what was your view on that ridiculous forward pass call on that amazing Manly try?
It was a try to Manly.
It was amazing,
all
right?
Day. That was a flat ball at best. From what you let go, I thought Manly were a little bit robbed there, but I mean these calls happen, and South's got the chocolates.
All right, here's just a quick point before we moved off this game. Croker, right? He's got the ball. He passes it out to Schuster, who runs deep into the line with his lips out, throws a scucky no-look pass to DCE, skip pass to Tommy Turbo, who draws on the defender, passes it to Garrick, who scores in the corner and then converts it from the sideline. I think they've got the most exciting backline in the entire game.
Yeah, so Schuster, right, with the lips out no-look, he's gone beyond the no-look. He now actively looks the other way almost. He used to just do the no-look. Now he's fully looking the other way. It's so anxiety-inducing to watch, but when he pulls it off, it's amazing.
And he always gets it straight to the, his support players' hands as well. He's not throwing dodgy passes.
What I love, though, is no look, but there's no one else he could pass to, so it's obvious where he's going.
It's when he is looking at his man, that's when he's not going to pass. It's when he takes his eyes off him, that's when he's going to pass. Yeah. And an interesting thing came out, Olakwatu was 120 kg last year. Do you hear this on the sideline? I think, hoops, down the sideline, got this intel. 120 last season. He's come back. He's 113 this season. No more junk food. He's only allowed one cheat meal a week, only if Manly win.
Yeah, I heard that. What a great stat, eh?
It's great, yeah.
So he would have been, when that forward pass was given.
Yeah,
there's the K from.
That's one way to get me fired up as well, which is, I think it's smart from Olakwatu. Now, Battle of Brisbane, or the Bennett Bowl, I've heard it being called as well. It was the Dolphins taking on Brisbane.
Battle of the Brown Snake.
Battle of the Brown Snake.
You know, that's the river?
Yeah, what's the river called? The freaking
Brown River.
The Brown Snake River, that's the one. But the Broncos did get the win, 18 points over the Dolphins, 12. While the Broncos did win this, and at this stage they are looking like a genuine chance to, finish amongst the top, I still can't believe how much, very similar to what Andrew Webster's done with the Warriors, actually, how much Wayne Bennett has got these sort of, middle-of-the-road dudes to just buy into the same ethos. And even though they're missing guys, they still managed to turn on an amazing defensive performance and also getting the best out of guys like Asako, Tessinu, and the Hammer. I can't believe what he's done there.
It's getting the best out of the young guys, bringing in the old heads from good systems.
Yes.
So you've got guys who have come from really good systems, like the Bromwich boys in that coming, and Kafusi coming through from Melbourne. Matty Lodge, who's come from the Roosters. Oh, no, Matty Lodge is at the Roosters, sorry. I'm thinking he is going to the Dolphins.
Oh, is he? Of course, O'Sullivan's there.
Sean O'Sullivan, his brother-in-law, is there. And Sean O'Sullivan looks like he's injured for next
week.
Torn
pec, right? I think he's out for quite a while.
So they're really struggling when it comes to troops. I picked this to be a blowout to Brisbane, this game.
But they couldn't.
And they just couldn't.
And
Brisbane are a really good-looking team. Like, you're talking about Manly having an exciting team.
Oh, yeah.
Brisbane have attacking weapons. When you link Ezra Mam up with Reece Walsh...
Yeah. Or even Adam Reynolds kicking through for Reece Walsh to chase.
Yeah.
Or Payne Haas running it and offloading it off his shoulder to Reece Walsh.
Payne Haas is a beast. He just delivers.
Good, man.
There's so much to like. I've never enjoyed the Queensland sides except the Cowboys, but the Brisbane side are a nice team to watch this year. Brisbane's divided apparently, so there's the Caxton pub is where all the Broncos fans go. Now there's the Fitzroy around the corner, I believe, which is where all the fins up. And seeing Hamaso do his fins up and clock me up some Supercoach points is always a joy.
I wish I'd brought the Hammer in. I was just too busy like, no, he's going to regress. But he looks so good. But just the fact that they managed to be that close to Brisbane, and, it wasn't until Katoni Staggs picked up a fortuitous ball and ran the length of the field, it was still very much their game. That was them without Kafusi, Jeremy Marshall-King, their young half, Katoa, and then, of course, O'Sullivan left with a pec injury. Tessinu had one leg the entire game, and Nikarima was off with an HIA for the whole game. So, wow. And they still... I just cannot believe...
Oh, they were playing Milford in that game.
The Milf was there,
Milf didn't have a bad game.
I mean, he was the one that kicked the ball to Staggs, but he also put a beautiful little ball through for... Who was it that ran through and scored? Was it Carrigan or... I can't remember who it was. Capewell.
It
was Capewell,
yeah.
I think. Wait, no, hang on. Capewell was on the Broncos.
Capewell did score for the Broncos.
He did score for the... But he plays for the...
Yeah. Anyway, it was a phenomenal game, the Battle of Brisbane. This rivalry has really been created by the media, but it does seem to have taken off, and I think we're going to see some cracking games in the future between those two sides.
Yeah, I'm happy for the media to turn that into a rivalry. One last talking point, just quick. Nico, he's back. The Sharks absolutely pumping.
The wettest hair in rugby league.
Oh, maybe. How does he do it? 40 points to 8. They absolutely pounded the Dragons. Nico Hines, 180 Supercoach points, and he could have had one more try assist if Hamlin Welle didn't drop the ball over the line. That's like almost 200 points, right? And this is his first game back. He looks slick. He was involved with everything. The Sharks look red hot, unfortunately, just as we're about to face them this Sunday. You know, all of a sudden, now that he's back, they are back to being a pretty damn good premiership contender.
Yeah, I mean, Craig Fitzgibbon has got that side humming. Their backline have a lot of heavy contact. They've got a lot of backbone in there, mate. And Mulatalo, he's going to be an interesting guy to try and contain. Him against Montoya is a pretty juicy matchup. Because they're both quite similar dudes that are all just like arms and legs and quite tall, but really strong. To use a Keezy phrase, they're granite.
Oh, block of granite, yeah. He's like the Energizer Bunny when you bring him on. The other one too, take a bow. Don't know why I don't like that. But the thing about Hines coming back that just shocked me was I'd forgotten how good he was. And literally the last few potties we'd been banging on about how good Braden Trindle's been. Holy shit, he just came back. Nico was just like, look, Braden was great, but here's like a try and 4 try assists and 3 line break assists. And, you know, he is just so friggin' good.
Well, Nico showed how awesome he was at Melbourne when he got a taste at fullback when Paps went out. And he has just taken the ball literally and run with it, and he is a beast in all aspects of the game.
He is, absolutely. Now, before we get to the new segment, Mad Monday's Mad Money, just a reminder that 6 p.m. this Sunday, the Warriors are taking on the Sharks at Shark Park. They'll be taking on Nico Hines and the boys. Sky Sports 6, you'll have me and Dai Henwood commentating that game, so make sure you do get involved. But, Di, there's a brand new segment on Mad Monday. It's going to be weekly. We're each going to have turns at taking the money and making the bet. It is Mad Monday's Mad Money. It's brought to you by the TAB. Every single week they've given us $100 to spend.
TAB, good punt, good punt, good punt, good punt.
And each week we're going to take turns at deciding how we spend that $100, all right? Now,
sounds good to me.
Because it's Monday, we don't have the team list out yet, which means you can't bet on try scorers and things like that. So there's a few things to iron out, which means you're just straight up betting either head-to-head or results or whatever it might be.
I love it, because this adds another...
Yeah, and how hard's tipping been this year? It's been an absolute joke. So it's...
tipping's impossible. I only got 6 from 7.
That's pretty damn good.
Sorry, 7 from 8.
Did you?
Yeah.
Which one did you get wrong?
It was a tough race. Eels and
Eels, yeah, of course.
Penrith.
Yeah, of course. Well, congratulations. It's amazing. But I've decided just on the Eels, actually, as the first person to be placing Mad Monday's Mad Money bet this week, I want to put $100 straight up. The Roosters will lose to the Eels. The Eels will take down the Roosters. Coming off a fresh bye. I know the Roosters are your second team. I just think, as I said, the Eels have lost by 4 to some of the top teams in the competition. They literally just beat Penrith. That's Mitch Moses has signed on the dotted line. He's all in. Sure, they're without Junior Paulo, but I can see them sort of feeding off all this negative energy.
What's the return on that?
$2.45.
Boom time.
So, exactly. So I think,
time, there we go.
Also, it's not my money, so I'm not too worried, but I'm going to put $100 of Mad Monday's kitty onto the Eels taking on the Roosters.
They can settle 1/10 of your tab at the Red Fox Tavern.
That's right.
Where Keezy was for 22 hours before he made it back to the commentary yesterday.
Damn, I was supposed to only be there for 21, but I couldn't help myself. And the good thing about this bet too, which I factored in, Eels are taking on the Roosters Thursday night. I can get that out the way and stop stressing about it and then just enjoy the rest of the NRL.
I love it.
So that was a massive one. So that is Mad Monday's Mad Money bet this week, brought to you by the TAB. Now that we've done that, before we wrap things up, of course, it's time for Dai Henwood to bring it off the back fence.
Oh, a long kickoff. The offload to Henwood, and he's off the back fence. Boom
time.
You know what I love? I love rugby league. I love the game. I love the Warriors. I love Mount Smart. But a new love's been important to my life, and that is showing up to the Export Beer Garden studio and dropping our beautiful vocal cords onto Sky's coverage. You can just tune in and listen to the Mad Monday calling the game. It brings so much love. I get rid of my voice every time I commentate it, and I must say, the Warriors are our talisman, and we're their talisman. We are 3 from 3 calling Warriors games with Warriors wins. So when you're at anyone's place, go over to other people's places. Say, grab the remote. There, I put it in my pants. Well, I'm going to grab it out of your pants then. Get your pants off and give me the remote. Grab the remote, put their pants back up, and then flick it to our channel. We've been on Sky Sports 6, but just have a look around. We're easy to find. Don't go with the Aussie commentary. Go with us. We're Mad Monday. We rock. We love your ears, and we want to be inside them.
Boom. Cut that off and send it round to all your mates. The Mad Monday undefeated team doing the commentary of all the games this year, except for the Roosters game, which the Warriors strategically dropped.
But that's in the past.
Yeah, who cares, man? Who cares? All right, that does things for the Mad Monday podcast this week. We will be back again tomorrow, Dai and myself, with Supercoach Corner, going over who's hot and who isn't in Supercoach world. And in the meantime, don't forget, 6 p.m. this Sunday, Sharks v Warriors, Sky Sports 6. Join us for Mad Monday's coverage of that game. From myself and Dai, we'll see you next time.